SK Vibemaker.
Not your everyday conversation with not your everyday voice. We've got UK soul artist Emeli Sande in the building. How are we doing?
Hey, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Gee, I am well. And I was actually just thinking back to myself. The last conversation that we had was in 2011. How about that?
Wow. Was
Yeah,
that
this
just Heaven had been released, right?
exactly. And before the debut album came out.
Wow, that was an exciting year actually, because that's when
Yeah.
you're just like you against the world, you're gonna see what's gonna happen. And when people responded to Heaven like that, it was just amazing.
How do you compare that energy to how you had in 2011 to the Emeli Sande energy that she has in 2020?
Weirdly, it's kind of I feel like I've done this full circle because like 2011 was when I just remember it was me and Naughty Boy. We'd done songs like Heaven, Daddy. We kind of written the album, but I wasn't signed, he wasn't signed. So it was just nice to have that raw energy when you're just around your friends. And I think now I feel like I've come back to that. Obviously we're in lockdown and I'm independent now. So I feel like I've got that energy back again. So it feels nice.
Oh wow, this is big news. I wasn't aware of that. So you've gone independent, you've left the major label, which was Virgin,
Yeah.
that you were
Yeah.
signed to for such a long time. How has that
Yeah. Yeah.
transition been from, having that big major push, being on that major platform, being on a major label like Virgin to then going independent?
I mean, it's definitely daunting. I won't lie in that way because you are used to the support network. You're used to always having like 10 opinions and you can bounce things back off them. But it's been really liberating for me. I had a great 10 years with Virgin and, we put out some great music and it was a wonderful journey, but it was definitely time for me to kind of just get more in that just more wild again and more just like open my kind of possibilities of what music I can do and how I want to go around putting it out. So it's definitely daunting, but exciting more than anything and really liberating.
Now, a lot of us have been in lockdown, man, for the majority of 2020. And for some creatives, it has been a time that they've had heightened creativity. But for some people, it's been creatively stifling. How has lockdown treated you creativity wise?
I found it really inspiring, actually, because, when lockdown happened, I was supposed to be going to do the summer shows. So you kind of get home for 2 weeks, then you're out again. So to actually have to be in the one place for a while, at first it's difficult to adjust to, but after that, I was like, oh, this is cool. And I've made music that I just would have never made if it hadn't been lockdown. I feel like I've been able to be a lot more experimental. And yeah, I found it really inspiring.
So let's talk about Prayed Up. Stay safe, stay prayed up. Very
Yeah.
uplifting, very motivational, and maybe a song that a lot of people have needed to hear in 2020. Now, tell me how it was. How easy or hard was it writing a song like this?
This one was quite easy because it was a real just like flow of consciousness. And for me, we're given this message by the government: stay safe, stay indoors, of course. But like this for me was, I think, staying safe spiritually and making sure that you take time to really protect your energy. We're being fed news, which is quite terrifying every day. So I wanted to try and encourage people to make sure that your mental space and your spiritual space is protected as well. And I did study medicine before I came to London, so just seeing what the NHS have done, what people in healthcare have been giving to the community and country, I wanted to try and be useful and be of service in some way through my music. So that was the intention with this song.
I mean, you have that pure soul sound, your main talent being your actual vocal and your performance rather than antics, lifestyle, and other things. How much of a challenge has it been grappling for recognition or visibility in this generation?
I mean, there's so much music out now, and the internet's a blessing in one hand because you can just put so much more stuff out, and people, that aren't signed, people that want to do some things in a different way, have a platform now, which wasn't there, let's say, like 15 years ago. But yeah, I just focus on my music, and I always feel that if you make something that you've put your whole heart and soul into, perhaps it may not get the recognition it deserves instantly or within a couple of years, but I feel that, and I've kind of noticed from my music, when you really put your soul into something, even if it's 5 6 years later, somebody be like, oh right, I didn't even hear like that EP. Like I brought out an EP that when it came out, not many people heard it, but then eventually if people stop me on the street, they're like, oh, the EP. And it's just, things take time to kind of bubble. And I love when things are kind of passed around by word of mouth, because I think that's the strongest way to kind of promote your music. So yeah, I just kind of keep faith.
You recently collaborated with Loski on his new album, Music Trial and Trauma, on the song
Yeah.
Life So Deep. That might be a surprising collaboration for many. How did you get with working with Loski?
Naughty Boy introduced me to Loski and Ricky Blue, and they came over. I've got a studio at my house, so they came over, and I just thought he was a really inspiring artist. Like, he's a very humble guy, and I just think his storytelling is just really engaging, and I really love what they've done in the song. So we kind of just sat down and vibed super quickly, and he really liked the hook, and it all came together quite naturally. But he's a great guy. I'm really excited to be in that project.
You listening to much UK drill at the moment?
I love Heady One. He's amazing. I do like. I've got a couple of mates that kind of keep me in the loop. They let me know what's going on and give me like. He's a really good A&R guy actually. So he kind of plays me what's hot, and yeah, I enjoy it. I like, more than anything, I like the energy and the honesty. Everyone's telling a story from their perspective and finding new musical creative ways to give it to the world. So I'm really proud of where the UK's at the moment and what
Straight
we're
up.
showing to the world.
What's on your playlist at the moment? What's the current flavors that you're listening to in your personal time?
What do I like? A lot of classical music at the moment. Have been kind of forced to slow down has made me really dig deeper into that realm. And so like, yeah, kind of, yeah, a lot of classical stuff, like a lot of Debussy, Chopin, Bach, and all of that. And I love, like, we've been trying to like sample it in the new album. So it's really interesting trying to merge soul music with classical, with, drum and bass. It's just nice because everything is coming from the heart, no matter what genre you kind of delve into.
You collaborated with Kendrick Lamar a couple times on one
Oh,
of
yeah.
your remixes and one of his remixes. Are we going to see any forthcoming Kendrick Lamar collaborations?
Oh, I hope so, man. He is, he's a genius, and it's always a pleasure, like, working with him. The first time I met him was in New York, and he was a true gentleman and made me feel very comfortable in his environment. And yeah, I'd love to work with again. He's amazing.
One of your lockdown creations has been MTV with the EM instead of the M. Do you know what I'm saying? Shouts to all those who know about MTV, man. All of the 90s babies and that, you get me? But
Yeah.
talk to us about what you've been doing with MTV on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, I've just been trying to like show more of my personality. I think when people know about my music, but not so much about like, I like to relax as well. It's not always serious, like soul singing all the time. And I really wanted to connect with my fans on a more chilled out level. So yeah, MTV has been really fun actually. Just kind of like acoustic music, chats, and just trying to keep the conversation going.
You're nearing 10 years in the music industry since your release of your debut album back in 2012, and before that, the collaborations that you were doing. What's your take on the music industry in the time that you've spent on it, and your advice to budding musicians coming into the music game now?
Wow, my experience. I think if you're an artist, I feel like there's a difference between entertainers and artists. Entertainers, and we need entertainers, of course, like they brighten our day and give us life. But then if you're an artist, I think generally people are a lot more sensitive. I think if you want to step into the music industry, just have a protection around you, so that way, whatever happens, because it is a business at the end of the day, and it's a very different way of thinking. As long as you have that protection of your spirit and your art, then I think, you can use the industry to get your music where you want it to get to. But I just advise anyone stepping in, know who you are for sure before you do anything or sign anything. And yeah, just make sure you have people that you genuinely trust, that can protect your spirit in the whole, wild, wild west of it all.
You are very renowned for your songwriting ability. You've got a lot of artists out there that do major record sales, do big things, have a lot of visibility, but you are a songwriter as well. Now, a lot of new artists coming in the game, starting to pick up the pen and starting to write songs and that. What are your advice for budding songwriters that are trying to sharpen their pen?
Ooh, just be brave. Sometimes we kind of like filter ourselves out because we don't want people or the whole world to hear, a moment when we're really low, or, ugly parts of, your character, or things that you just feel that you want to keep and you want to polish everything to present a different picture. But I'd say embrace all of that. People want to really connect, and as a human being to human being, and we all go through life, we all go through different trials. So I think the more honest and raw and open you can be, that's when you can really get that connection, and that's when your narrative will be really truly unique. And I think that's when you can create a path for yourself that you don't have to rush to bring out music. You can just create this lane where that it's your truth. It can't be anyone else's. So yeah, just be brave to kind of bear all, and I think that will bring the deepest connection.
See, when it comes to writing love songs, when is the best like sort of time to write a love song? When you're actually in love or when you're out of love, in Emeli's opinion?
In my opinion, when you're in love and when you're falling in love, I think that's the best time, because essentially the best love songs, I think, are songs that are actually written for the person. Like, instead of sending a letter or a text or whatever, you actually write a song. And I think that's when you get the best, that real raw love emotion.
You know, when you put so much honesty in a song, I feel like it can be a gift and a curse, because you leave yourself vulnerable. But at the same time, how does one feel writing songs for other people, but then somebody writes a song about you? Like, as a songwriter yourself, I don't know if you've ever had any songs written about you. What's that like?
Yeah,
Or what could that be like?
I guess what would be interesting if someone wrote a song about you and it was really precise. You're like, whoa, how did they know that about me? I didn't know I was that obvious. So I guess that could be like quite a surprise. But when I'm trying to write songs for other people, you try and get in their psyche. You try and think, okay, how can I? And that's why it's better to spend time with people, so you actually know what they want to say. But now I'd like to see if someone could like write a song and me think, wow, actually, I would have said that.
Now, you've spent time writing in Los Angeles, the West Coast of America, and it seems like a lot of writers and producers follow the yellow brick road to go to Los Angeles and create. What is it about LA that everyone flocks to kind of get their creative on?
It took me like 5 trips to LA to realize this, but I think it's like a grown-up creative Disneyland. Like, if you go there to work, everything that you could need is there. And obviously, if have access to it, which I felt very blessed to have. But if you go there, you can go to the most amazing studios. The engineers and everybody's on this work like it's a strange balance, because everyone's chilled out and there's kind of the space to be creative. The sun's out, but at the same time, everyone's so ambitious. So whenever I go to LA, it kind of makes me just step up a little. It's like I step up a little bit, but also relax a little bit, because you're more chilled out, and it's a nice balance to get. I'd love to spend maybe like 4 months a year in LA and then come back to the UK, because I think I need the balance of both.
Now, you are one of the most successful UK soul-based singer-songwriters. Along the years, there has been few and far success stories, crossover success stories. I mean, we could probably count on maybe 2 hands easily, without even mentioning names. Why do you think there's a lack of UK-based soul, R&B crossover success?
Well, I guess now, when I kind of first came into the industry, there wasn't really much like soul music or hip hop music even in the charts. So I feel like now that we have all these different avenues and everything's opened up a lot, I feel that now, even like for someone who does drill or like proper soul or like deep R&B, they would have to kind of be changing who they are if they wanted to cross over like mainstream. But now I feel like you don't even need to do that. So I don't know, it's a hard one, because then you can't really define pop anymore. You can't define mainstream anymore. So I don't know. I feel like the crowd's building though. I feel that as the UK kind of embraces Black music more, there is, now you can be popular and still be doing R&B and stay true to yourself as an artist. But I think the crowd just needs to grow, and kind of the acceptance of it as pop music kind of just open up as well.
Now, a hot topic that I have been speaking to a lot of female artists about recently is the pressures to be glam all the time, sex up their artistry, submit to bad B culture, and maybe submit to having body surgery. Now, have you felt any of those pressures in your time in this music industry, and how have you dealt with them?
Not really. I think because I was always coming at it like I want to be a songwriter. I just wanted to be like respected for the writing. So everything else, I remember someone at the very beginning sat down, they're like, listen, your songs are great, but you need to think about what your look is, all of the rest of it. And you take it as, it's good advice. But at the same time, I wanted to make sure if I step in a room of guys, like the first thing they're thinking about is me as a writer and nothing else. So obviously you want to look good and you want to present yourself in a way. And I've changed my hairstyle about like 6 times now. But apart from that, no, I feel like I've always kind of felt and thought a bit differently, even from when I was younger. So thankfully I haven't felt too many of those pressures.
Now, I was reading through your YouTube comments earlier today, and someone wrote on one of your videos, is anyone else salty that she doesn't get the recognition that she deserves. Now, when you hear or read comments like that, how do you feel and what's your response?
Yeah, when people say stuff like, "Oh, you're underrated," and it's like I just try and take that as a, as a compliment, because that's how deeply they've connected to the music. And from 2012, when I was, doing the Olympics and like the Brits and all of that stuff, it was really exciting, and like I'm so grateful for that year. But at the same time, what I care about most is like how deeply I connect with the people that are listening to that music. And sometimes the deeper you go as an artist, it may mean that the people that listen, the numbers are going to reduce, but I feel like the connection gets even deeper. So usually, like, recognition is great, but I think it has to be in the right way. And I always just have that faith, like I was saying before, that the right ears will hear it when they need to hear it. And yeah, I feel like right now I feel so happy that I'm getting recognition from people I truly respect. And kind of I'm glad that I did kind of take the risk to go a bit deeper with the music and not care so much about staying in that kind of like mainstream like lane.
Now, like most industries in the world, it can be political and it can be cliquey. How much unity have you felt amongst your fellow female vocal peers in the UK?
I guess the only time we really see each other is like awards, and because sadly not many women like collab together a duet, which I'd love to do more of actually. Recently I've met a few like female producers, which has been really exciting. And the kind of connection there is, I love that connection, because when you meet a female writer or producer, it's like you kind of understand that you're stepping into a male dominated world, and you understand you have to be very thick skinned and kind of strong to push through it. So when I connect with female creatives, it's always a kind of like, a spud, because it's not easy, but when you do it, it's beautiful.
So you are on your independent route now. Your independent journey has begun. Tell us about how you plan on navigating through this independent journey. Have you set up a label or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm planning to set up a label, which just because I really want to start developing like talent, and there's so much talent out there. And I think sometimes when there's a big label and so much money behind it, people get scared to take on something that is actually like a very rough, raw diamond. So I wanted to set up something very small, and where I've got people that are, really on the same wavelength as me. So I'd love to do that. But me, right now I'm making the album, and I've just thought everything stems from the music. Sometimes we get carried away and start thinking about, how things are going to look before you even know what the song is. So right now I'm just putting all my energy in the music. And then hopefully as people start to hear it, the plan will come together. But, I have a great management and a great team around me now. So yeah, we're just going to stay strong and be brave with the music.
So how close are we to completion of the fourth album?
Well, I'm hoping to get it finished by end of January. So actually today was the first song has been completed. It's off to master. And I think the second song will be done in the next couple of weeks. So it's coming. So I'm hoping end of January will be good.
What's the goals for the next 5 years for Emeli Sande?
Wow. Be happy, make the best music. I really want to get into composing. So composing more and not using my voice as much, just so I can really dig deep into that end. And just music and helping people with my music as much as I can. And yeah, that's kind of all I got planned for 5 years.
Now, More of You is one of your big recent songs, man. A definite favorite of mine. You collaborating with Stoneboy and Nana Rogues. And this sees you maybe, going in a different direction, tapping into the African sound. Some might say the Afrobeat sound. How was it you going in this different direction, your musical route?
Yeah, just pretty natural, to be honest. It wasn't something I was intentionally trying to do. I was in LA. Nana was out there, and we kind of got together. He gave me a folder of beats, and one of them was one of the ones that became More of You. And it was just, just felt good. It was summer, and I've grown up listening to my dad's music. My dad's from Zambia. So it's always been a part of my life, and the rhythms and kind of just the sunshine of it. So yeah, it felt pretty natural. And then Nana reached out to Stoneboy. It all just came together just really like harmoniously. And I love that I've been able to try something different and also try a different tone in my voice. That was really fun.
Hey, listen, we look forward to what your independent route brings, Emeli. We look forward to, the next couple years of you bringing out more great music. It's been a great conversation today. Thank you very much for your time, Emeli.
Thanks for having me.
SK Vibemaker.